Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 245. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
Ant, what's going on? How are you? 245 episodes. Oh, we keep trucking along.
I feel old.
I am constantly reminded of how old I am.
But,
every morning, every evening.
Not as old as this guy.
Oh, do you want to talk about an old soul?
It's his birthday today.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Right? Well, it's his birthday as far as I can figure out.
His adoption birthday?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
His actual birthday.
Somewhere around his actual birthday.
And for those listening, Anthony had a Link in his lap.
My cat.
Yes.
One of my
and
cats.
And Link is out to kill everyone.
Yes.
But so far,
he's turning 6 and homicidal.
so far unsuccessful. But we'll just wait.
I can understand that. That's roughly midlife crisis for cats, so I can relate.
Really, 12? I would have thought they'd go longer.
6.
No. I'm saying you said midlife, so 12 meaning they usually. I thought they lasted into their 20s.
No, they do, but like 6 is kind of like their.
All right, fair enough.
40s.
Fair enough.
So,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's with us. So might as well just.
Yeah, he is hit middle age, and he is responding to it by attempting to attack my other cat right now.
See, that's what.
There we go.
That's what happens.
I'm old. I hate everything.
I'm old. So,
I'm old.
God, if I lived to 82, God help me. In any event, so
that'll be a lot of episodes.
Yeah,
Where
I'm in. So we're here. We got some good. We got a very, very interesting topic that I kind of popped up since last recording. Something that I kind of figured was happening, but I didn't have enough evidence.
Uh-oh.
But apparently now there's a lot of evidence. So we're gonna get into that in a little while.
Yep.
But before we do that, kind of quality of life, I guess, stuff. The other day, I've been wanting to tell this story on the podcast because it really, the passion that I have, and we both have, I know, but obviously you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I feel like if we were in the same area, we'd be visiting a lot of the stores and everything like that.
Yes.
But for me to be able to bring someone to either Game On or Barcade or some sort of like Comic-Con or something for the first time, I get some joy out of that because, I want them to experience, what we get to experience, the love of all this that's retro, and not just the video games, but all aspects of kind of reliving our childhood. And the other day, I got to bring our friend, Anthony. Yes, I know way too many Anthonys.
Yes, you do.
Just too many in my life.
I'd like to think that is my fault because I brought them to you.
Actually, it is. You're the first one. Yes.
Yes, I am the first one.
You are.
Yeah, remember that first.
You're the epicenter of a very large fault.
Apparently.
So I got to bring Anthony to Game On, and we actually went. We went Friday. Which was pretty cool. He was done with work. I was done with work. So I'm like, all right, let's go. Because Game On's been open on Fridays till 10 p.m.
Right.
Kind of a late crowd. And before the pandemic, we definitely there used to be a crowd there late. I'm not saying super late. But before the pandemic, definitely used to be crowds there late, especially on Fridays. Break out a lot of multiplayer games. It was just kind of a fun time with a bunch of people, half of which I just met through there, through the love of gaming. So I'm like, all right, sweet. So Anthony actually approached me and was like, hey, one day, because he found his Dreamcast.
Oh, nice.
That's what started it. He found his Dreamcast. He needed a wire for it. So he asked me about it. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we go Friday. I'm like, all right, cool. After work, blah, blah, blah. So now, I've mentioned this before, Game On, at least the Miller Place location, is a solid 60 minutes from where I live. And I apologize in advance right now. You will hear the air conditioner probably go on and off. It is hot in my apartment. This week I cannot bear without it. So I apologize in advance. So Game On in Miller Place here on Long Island is a solid hour from me. Which is fine, and he knew that. I'm like, you're going to be in the car with me for an hour. He's like, I can deal. I'm like, okay. So we get in the car, we go, we finally get there, and I am stoked. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to show you this place. You know, all the games, all everything to try. Some
And
of
you
the
were
cool
gonna buy him something for sitting in the car for an hour with you.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
You should always do that.
to deal with me, even though I don't like to talk in the car. So
All the more reason.
we get there, you know, we open the door. I'm like, here we go. Open the door, and there's the owner of Game On with his backpack on for some reason. It's a little darker than usual. I'm like, hey, what's up? And the owner goes, Tristan goes, I thought you were coming earlier. I'm like, no, you know, I just got off work, and, you know, I got my friend here. This is Anthony. I want him your first time here. And he's like, Tristan goes, I'm closed. I'm like, what are you talking about? You've been open for 10 till 10 p.m. the last 2 weeks. He goes, yeah, just for those 2 weeks. I did not say anything about 10 p.m. that night.
Yeah.
Or moving forward. I'm like, seriously? To the point where he was like, Tristan goes, I'm even running late for something. So it's just a happenstance that you found me here. I'm like, I traveled an hour to get out here. So I look at my buddy, and of course he stares at me like, really? You couldn't take 2 seconds to text the guy and be like, hey, what time you open today? So I wasted a 2-hour round trip in gas, time, for no reason whatsoever.
And angered one of the Anthonys.
Not even angered. And this is very inside. Don't get me wrong. Only a handful of us will understand this. But of everyone I know, of all my friends and family that I could have done this to, drag them 2 hours round trip for literally no reason whatsoever, he is the last person on the planet I would want to do that with. Because he will remind me on my deathbed.
Remember that 2 hours we had to spend in the car together to go to the store? That was close.
I mean, so I did buy him dinner for his troubles that night.
That was nice of you.
But
And
to his credit, he goes, let's try again tomorrow, meaning Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
nice.
I'm in. And then we had a discussion like, he goes, why didn't we just do it on a Saturday? And I'm pretty sure he told me he was off on Friday, but that's an argument for another time.
I wouldn't argue with him after what you did.
So I pull up Saturday, and how old is his oldest son? What, like 12, 15, 22?
10.
10, okay. So his 10-year-old...
yeah, close to 10.
Give or take. Yeah, because I think he's like a year younger than my godson. So his 10-year-old goes up to him, and he's like, oh, Daddy, where you going? He's like, oh, I'm going back to the game store with Larry. And he's like, weren't you there yesterday? He's like, we were, but it was closed. And his 10-year-old goes, wouldn't you have checked that before you left?
So,
and he's like, you know your Uncle Larry.
I was just gonna say, always good perspective to know that there's a 10-year-old thinking more than you do.
I mean, Friday would have been like, it would have been like, the store was closed. I went to bring him to a great steak joint out up there in Miller Place. They were like an hour and a half wait, which has never been the case before. Everything I promised him,
You disappointed.
it was the worst first date ever.
So you might say you pulled a Larry.
Oh my God, no! It added to the list. It just added to. I told someone, if you didn't know me personally and you heard these stories, you would think they just all be fables. So we ended up going Saturday early.
Okay.
Bottom line, we got there, and Anthony, who he's not. I mean, he's part of our group. When me and this Anthony on the podcast, you know, when we talked about playing the N64, the multiplayer games, especially the wrestling games, the PlayStation games, all this stuff, Left 4 Dead 2 on Xbox, he was part of that group.
Yes.
So that's how close he is to me. One of my best friends, along with this Anthony and almost every other Anthony on the planet.
You're welcome.
So he ended up having a really good time. Picked up a couple of things, which was pretty cool.
I would expect nothing less.
Which I was kind of shocked. I think he picked up a couple GameCube games. He picked up The Wire.
Oh, nice.
Aaron, I know is going to hate me for this. I did talk him into a Hyperkin Dreamcast HDMI cable.
No.
So
For shame.
simple. Look, he's not going to deep dive into this.
That's
So
very true. He'll be happy with it. You'll be
exactly.
happy with it. But you shouldn't be recommending those things.
I absolutely did.
Shame on you.
So bottom line, it worked out pretty good. I walked out with a couple of Atari games. Picked up Berserk.
I love
Picked
Berserk.
up, what else did I pick up? Venture, not a Venture. Venture.
Mhm.
Yes. And I'm still waiting to get a good copy of Wizard of War.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So I'm looking for that. Like, because I'm not looking really for boxed Atari,
No,
just good carts.
right.
So,
No, that's fair.
and but yeah, bottom line though, it was fun though, and just to see, because he really genuinely enjoyed it. And I was very happy to see that. He even said, "We'll head, no problem. We'll head back out another time. We'll do it again." And then before we left, they had the arcade machine Sunset Riders
Hmm.
up, and so we just plowed through that and beat it before we left, which was
Nice.
pretty fun. So bottom line, I introduced someone new to the store, and I just the joy I got out of it. It was so much fun to do.
Very cool. I'm going to interject here for
Sure.
a moment. Well, just because awesome that you guys actually got to you made it to the store when it was open.
Twice,
Yeah, twice.
4 hours.
4 hours for a gaming experience. So definitely a Larry thing. But just to interrupt here,
Yeah.
before we recorded this episode, I had talked to you about introducing kind of a new mini segment in the show, of like, hey, you know what? I had an idea this morning. It's just something to throw out there when we're randomly, when we're talking about stuff, is to maybe every week bring up an obscure video game title, maybe one that most people don't know about.
Exactly.
Type of thing. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I did some research and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm like, the Super Nintendo turned 30 last week. Maybe I can find an obscure title for the Super Nintendo that most people maybe didn't realize was on the Super Nintendo. So the game that I had selected to talk about this week was Sunset Riders.
Really?
And I have it sitting up right here.
So we did talk about the topic, but you did not tell me the game.
No.
That is actually very funny.
So you brought up, we just ran through Sunset Riders, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Wow. You know what? I forgot it came out on the Super Nintendo.
Well, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up. So, hey, everybody, we have a new mini topic this week.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. So this week's obscure video game. Again, and it could be one that you know about because there was an arcade, but did you know that the video game Sunset Riders was released on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis?
Oh, wow. Okay. I might have known about the Genesis, but not the Super Nintendo. And I only learned about this probably within the last year. So, because one of the YouTube channels I watch, Patman QC, did a video on the arcade machine and then talked about some home conversions. But before that, and I wish I owned this.
Yeah. No, it's a great game. So basically, it's a 4-player game, takes place in the American Old West, revolves around 4 bounty hunters who are out to claim rewards for capturing the most wanted outlaws in the West. So it plays kind of similar to like Contra. It's like like a bit side-scrolling shooter type of thing. The 4 characters you can choose from are the 4 bounty hunters are Steve, Bob,
okay,
and then you have Billy Cool and Cormano Wild.
Yeah, I was Cormano Wild yesterday when I played on the arcade.
But I just find it funny. It's like 2 of them have two, like Billy Cool and Cormano Wild, and then it's just Steve and Bob.
Steve and Bob. We just need two more names. Steve and Bob.
Yeah,
all right,
Steve
good.
And Bob. All right, cool.
12 seconds.
Can you imagine being in the Old West and they're coming up to you? They'd be like, "So, what do they call you?" Steve.
Steve the what? Steve.
Just Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve.
I'm just Steve.
I mean, when you make a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
So Sunset Riders was an arcade game. Very, very it was a very good arcade game released in July of '91. I was like, but then they came out with a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis version, which was kind of cool. On the Genesis one, though, there were only 2 characters.
Okay.
They cut out Steve and Bob, so you could only play as Billy Pool or Chromato Wild.
All right.
But the Super Nintendo one played pretty much just like the arcade one.
It was a four-player game?
They had, I don't know if it was a four-player game.
Okay,
but
fair
you
enough.
had all four players to choose
Fair
from.
enough. Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so basically they said very, very few changes. The only a couple of the changes in the Super Nintendo
I can
one were
imagine which ones.
they removed the Native American characters.
Yeah. The arcade was original arcade, and when you get to that level, yeah, that's when you're like, ooh, all right, signs of the time, signs of the time.
And here's something funny to point out too. You know, on stage 6 was the Native American level, and the outlaw at the end that you played against was Chief Scalpum.
Yes.
In the Super Nintendo version, you get a kick out of this stuff. They renamed him Chief Wiggum. No, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. It looks like Chief Wiggum. It's Chief Wigwam.
I was gonna say if it was Wiggum, that would be phenomenal.
Well, Simpsons was already out by then.
That's what I was gonna say, and they would have to pony up a lot of money.
Right. No, but Chief Wigwam.
Even Chief Wigwam, I guess nowadays is still a bit borderline, but for 91, yeah, it's all right, good enough.
So, but yeah, so that was just what I wanted to bring up. I believe funny. How many levels were there in the game?
We played through. Oh God, it felt like at least the arcade.
8 stages.
That feels about right. Like 4 regular stages, maybe, and then before you get to the boss, you have like 3 almost like quick mini stages before you get to the final boss. But granted, it was on free play, so we didn't spend any quarters. That's how we got through the game. But Super Nintendo, I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, and as a quick Easter egg for it, if you defeated the boss of the 5th stage with Cormano Wild active in the game, he will catch the boss's sombrero and wear it for the rest of the game.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that's just such a weird.
That is
thing
odd.
That you would bring up. Yeah, I literally was just I went to a website which had a list of 15 Super Nintendo games you've never played, basically.
Oh, good. So now we have something to talk about for the next 14 weeks.
15 great Super Nintendo games that you never played, and I pulled out of the list. I went with Sunset Riders because I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't realize. Again, same thing. I was like, I remember the arcade. I did not realize it was on console. So now I want it on console, and I'm sure it's going to be very expensive.
You know, it's funny because I do have on the home consoles. You can get the arcade archive, so you can download the arcade game.
Yes.
Of Sunset Riders. I mean, great. There are. I think they still made some of those changes for what it's worth. But to now go and own maybe an original SNES or a Genesis version.
Yeah.
I might have to hunt that down now.
Well, a loose price of it is about $100.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Complete in box, about $400.
That's a little tough. Little tough. But you know what? It might be
Sunset Riders with Super Nintendo.
No, totally. It might be something to try and check out even on eBay or something, because I recently picked up a couple of games on eBay, one of which might be considered a bit obscure for us here in North America.
Well, there is a copy of it on eBay, just so you know, really quickly, for $100. Came out in 1993, so about 2 years after the arcade.
Okay, all right. So we'll check those out.
Okay, so then what did you pick up at game? Well, you mentioned 2 games you picked up.
I picked up 2 games on eBay, first of all.
Oh, this is eBay we're talking about.
Yeah, this is eBay. This is through the Super Potato eBay store.
Yes.
Because I've been giving them... Oh, my God. I've been giving them a lot of money.
You're welcome.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
I'm at fault.
So I picked up 2 Game Boy games. Okay. One of which is Parodius on Game Boy.
Ooh.
Now, I talked about this before. This is that very weird, wacky shoot 'em up on the Super Famicom.
Yes, with that blue duck guy.
Yes, and there's
duck or penguin. I don't even know what it is.
It's a penguin.
It's a penguin.
Definitely a penguin.
Blue penguin.
Apparently, so now I have it on Super Famicom. I have the copy on Game Boy, and it works because the Game Boy's region free. The original Game Boy's region free. Now I just got to get my hands on the very expensive NES version and very rare NES version, so that's going to suck.
Wish you the best of luck.
But these boxes, too, I want to talk about real quick with the Japanese Game Boy boxes. Small, tiny. Yeah. Ours were a little bit bigger.
Well, you got to remember the size of the game.
I know, but still, even with that, not much and not much really in the box. I mean, all the original content and everything is in
The
there.
game and the instruction booklet.
Basically, I mean, the game's over there,
Yeah.
but still, the box was tiny compared to what we had here in North America.
I can see it's about the size of your hand.
It's cute. Yeah, just about.
A little
These
bit.
big mitts. And then I picked this up because I know it's different enough, and I kind of want. I thought they released it on home console. Maybe they did, but I don't know. Ghostbusters 2 on Game Boy.
Oh, look at that.
Now, I've been kind of obsessing with the original Ghostbusters game on home console, which
The
was
NES one? No,
terrible.
not the NES one.
Here's the thing. Like the NES one. The NES. I actually had it on the Commodore 64.
Oh, so did I.
So, and that was rough to play. But the Master System version, even though it's the same gameplay type, is leaps and bounds better than the NES version.
You gave me the.
Oh, that's right. That's one. I'm like, I know I bought one.
Yeah, you bought one for me.
I did, yes. So, congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
you're welcome.
And it's actually really good. Yes.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I picked up this because with this Ghostbusters 2, if you can see here how the sprites are,
Yeah.
it's a little different, and plays a bit more, not as straightforward. It's a little more open-ended,
Okay.
but still very, very cool game. These are my first 2 Japanese Game Boy games I've ever bought.
Nice.
And I'm very happy with them, and I think they will not be the last 2.
No, they won't be. At some point, I'll buy some more again as well when I go to Super Potato.
And then finally, this I picked up. It's a pop vinyl, but what it represents is awesome. It's a Batman pop vinyl,
Okay.
but it's Batman from the NES.
Okay. That's cool.
It's got the purple hue to it.
Yeah. Actually, a friend of mine just gave me the Batman pop vinyl from Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I do not have it near me to show, but
and this one also 8-bit Batman.
no, I like that. That's really cool.
So now I have this, and I have the NES Jason pop vinyl. Also
if you look over here, no, there.
No, the other side.
That's it. You see Freddy and Jason. 8-bit.
I do. Are they 8-bit? Very cool.
Oh yeah, you've never seen my 8-bits?
Oh no, I think I've seen those. Yeah, I like that Jason.
Jason.
I mean, the other Jason's cool also, but I like that one.
Yeah, I like the purple one though. And then behind that is Freddy.
Oh, look at him. There he is.
Yeah.
Hello, Freddy.
All the reflections.
So, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's basically what I did. It was kind of a little low-key this week, because actually the Game Boy games came in a few weeks ago, so I just haven't had a chance to talk about them. So, other than that, yep, that's about it on that.
That's it? Are we done?
Yeah, let's wrap it up for next week.
No. Like we know how to talk for less than an hour.
No, and I think what we're about to talk about next is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, this is kind of the hot topic of our episode this week, and quite frankly, I think the hot topic in retro video gaming in general right now. Over the last few months, we've been talking about how retro games have been going up for auction, and they've been selling for like some really good amounts of money. And we're not just talking like recently, it's been going on for a little while. But like, remember like when we talked about, hey, that copy of Super Mario Brothers sold for $30,000, and we were like, oh man, that's wild, this, that, and the other. And then like, a few months later, months go by, and it's like, hey, a copy just sold for like $100,000. And it's like, okay. And then it just became like Sunset Riders Wild West, where it was like 100,000, 300,000. 870,000, 1.5 million. And then we finally get to a $2 million copy of Super Mario Brothers for NES.
The record was being broken weekly at one point. Literally weekly.
No, I think daily. Like we got to a point where it's like Legend of Zelda went for 870. A day later, Mario 64 went for 1.5 million. And I think it was only 3 or 4 days after that the Super Mario Brothers game went for 2 million. So it's like within the span of a week, like it went nuts, and everybody, and we even pointed out, we're like, okay, at what point is this getting a little bit too absurd? Well,
here we are.
So this video comes out on YouTube, where it's called "Exposing Fraud and Deception in the Retro Video Game Market," and it's like a 60-minute video, basically explaining how there's rampant fraud going on, which is the reason why the Super Mario Brothers game went for 2 million. Now, full disclosure, have not watched the video, but I have read the articles that have followed up on this video because
Likewise.
okay, I'd rather spend the 5 minutes reading the article than the 60 minutes to watch the video. I'm sorry, I don't have.
I'm still interested in the video, though. I'm still interested in the video.
No, I'm very interested in the video,
point, yeah.
and I'm going to have to watch it. Actually, you know what? I have a flight coming up. I can definitely put 50 minutes to watching it. But the whole thing is, so the basic idea behind it is that the Mario game is a 9.4 graded, 9.4 A++ graded game from Grading House WATA.
This is the $2 million one, right?
The $2 million.
Okay.
The one that's sold for $2 million. Right? Was it 9.4 or 9.8? I'm sorry. I may be talking about the 9.4.
2 million. You would think it's probably maybe the 9.8.
Yeah, but there are a bunch of articles going on about this, but the gist of it is, and if you do a search for this, it'll come up very quickly. The gist of it is that the $2 million purchase came from somebody who worked at the grading company.
Wow.
Or one of the founders of the grading company.
That's what's interesting. Yeah.
And that's what's interesting about it, because it's like, because if the grading company itself is setting the prices for how these get auctioned, then ultimately they're going to be the ones that benefit in the long run, right? Financially.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so I'm trying to find the actual part of it there. So because it was all about this person named Bronte, right? I believe it was. So Bronte was the one who sold the original Super Mario Brothers game for $100,000, and that was in February 2019. So that was only like 2.5 years ago. And again, I'm reading this off of an article. Yeah. One of the many articles that are online. Like I said, you just search and you find them. And
super quick, before we move on, I just want to give credit for that video, the hour-long video almost. Carl Jobst, Jobst, on YouTube is the one that posted it. Carl Jobst, yeah.
Got it. So the game that was sold in February 19 was graded by WATA, and the game itself was purchased by a group of collectors that included two people: Jim Halperin, who was a member of the WATA board, advisory board, and then Richard Leese, who was one of the three men who founded and started WATA months before this game was sold.
Insider trading almost.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like, but I don't know if you can call it that.
No. Yeah, you're right. No, not really. And remember, we talked about this before this part of it came out. When you said two of the people who owned it. Remember, we were talking about that website that you basically buy into, like you buy a share.
Oh, Rally.
Rally. Yes, you buy a share of something. It wasn't just a game; it was a bunch of stuff. Yeah. A share of it. So yeah, obviously, I guess they were the two shareholder, majority holders. I mean,
right, exactly. But then the interesting thing about it is, like, this game went for $100,000, but WATA was only founded months before, so they had just started grading games. So you're talking about a company that just started grading games a few months prior, and then they basically bought this game for $100,000. And then the question was, like, why would they buy it? Why would they buy the game that their company graded?
Yeah.
So, so it makes you wonder what's going on with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No. I was going to say, that, and just hearing that, that's what immediately comes to mind is the false inflation. Like, I remember, like, when eBay kind of first started. And people, like some of my friends would put stuff on eBay. We're not talking anything elaborate, but putting stuff on eBay. And they'd be like, hey, do me a favor. Go on eBay and put a bid in. Just to get the price up. If you win it, we'll close the auction.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's just me being me. So now we're talking on a much bigger level. And it's funny, which we'll probably talk about a little later. The more you look into this James Halperin guy, it's like, if you see the name there, run like hell.
Exactly. So, well, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, in this August, I don't know if it's in the video or not, because again, I haven't read it, but in an August 2021 report by Carl Jobst, Jim Halperin was fined $1.2 million by the Federal Trade Commission in the 1980s for overgrading coins because he was a coin grading
That's
expert
what
at the
I
time.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he was sued in the late 2000s by an ex-employee for shill bidding, which
Hmm.
is scamming and auctions buyers by bidding on your own items. So in other words, I'm going to bid on my own items to bring it up so that somebody else will buy it for more money, which is what
At
you
what
just
point?
talked about we do at eBay.
At what
People
point did
do.
Jim Halpern start working at a paper company?
I don't know. He should have.
Do 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 do.
So basically there was so now because Halpern's name is attached to this video game, obviously people are kind of like, what's going on with this?
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you look into it further, basically they're calling out Halpern, Wada, and all of them for basically overinflating the value of video games. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the video game market has become hot. Like collectors have started to move over to collecting video games. It's just one of those things where it's like you have comic book collectors, coin collectors, stamp collectors. You have like people pop vinyl collectors.
Mm-hmm.
But now video games seems to be the new hot
Yeah.
item to collect. So now, obviously, when that happens, people start to take advantage of it. The question is this going to go down the road of an FTC investigation, or is this where we're just seeing video game prices going? I mean, that's ultimately going to be the
Yeah. And I know it's happened in the comic book world. I'm sure it's happening in the sports card collectible world and everything
right.
with these full because it's like okay,
Through the article.
yeah. It's like all right. So originally, like when Super Mario sold for like 30,000. All right, it's astronomical. But you had games like Stadium Events that goes for like 15,000 or whatever. Like
Because again, there were very few of them.
that's the whole thing. That's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at. The rarity. It's one thing for the rarity, and like you can't even obviously on a ROM is something different, but like you can't really. There's no emulation of Stadium Events. It's world class track meet, which is nothing.
Right.
So, it's one thing to be the rarity, but now it's like, at what point does the rarity stop? And it's just like, oh, we just have an old game at this point that, oh, because it's old, let's put it up for a lot of money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I don't know about investigations and everything like that. I know at one point, Pawn Stars, the TV show,
Yep.
kind of gotten not maybe inadvertently involved in it. Which of course doesn't help any because they're a national television show.
Yep.
But this rabbit hole just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger, and at the end of the day, the question becomes like, who is going to invest 6 or 7 figures into buying these games? Like, are we talking Uber collectors, or are we talking more people who are kind of in the industry that are trying to inflate video game prices overall?
Or not only that, but also just people looking to flip. Like you buy a house and you flip it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which again, in itself is fine. But yeah, like you get these. There's almost to me, and this goes for anything, not just video games, but almost anything. You have your regular collectors. You have your like super collectors who will spend a little bit more money. But usually the super collectors may not have necessarily the job for it, so they'll just they'll save, and then they'll finally pull the trigger when they can. And then you just get people who just have the money, don't care about what they're getting, and they just buy it, which adds, like you said, adds to this artificial inflation. And they just don't know what they have. Like it can go the other way as well. Like trying to sell something back to like GameStop, and they don't know what they're buying, and they'll offer you $1, and you don't know it.
Yes.
That's a bad example. Let me flip that to like a garage sale, where someone is selling a game for something very cheap,
Yes.
for like $1, and then like you buy it, you go home and you realize it's worth like $400 or something like that.
Yeah.
But
that's not you taking advantage of the person. It's really the person not realizing the value of what they have.
No, correct. What I'm getting at is though, when you kind of keep moving forward with that though, and you get these collectors who just don't care what they're buying.
Right.
They're just buying it to flip it, causing, so it's the other way around. That's what I was saying. It's kind of like the other way around where the buyer just doesn't care and they'll spend whatever amount of money that they want.
Yeah.
I mean, is the bubble good? Yeah.
I was just saying, but that you're also basing that on the precipice of you think it's going to go up in value.
Well, of course, everything's a crapshoot. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, do you think this is the bubble? I mean, do you think it's gonna pop? Do you think we still have?
I think it'll pop if everybody really recognizes that if people recognize like video games are not worth that much.
Mm-hmm.
So it all comes down to that realization. I get that. I get the value of a sealed copy of a game, right?
I do. Yeah.
I totally get the value of it. But to say something that's like, so a game that's roughly 30 years old, of which there are limitless copies out there, like Super Mario Brothers. Granted, again, sealed in box, whatever it is. If you're telling me that's a $2 million game, I gotta say you're pulling. Yeah, I think you're way off base.
Yeah. So it's weird. And I think this.
I just remember 2 years ago when we said on our episode that we thought $30,000 was a bit absurd.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, we were like 30,000, really.
And we were aware of what it was. It was like a special first run. It was a cardboard hang tab, I think. And
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the little niches were about it. But I'm just curious. I mean, if this is just the tip of the iceberg, I'm very curious what's gonna come next. And not only that, will this trickle over to other things like comic books and sports memorabilia, and everything like that?
Well, comic books are, the interesting thing about like comic books is like the value of certain comic books really revolve around like the first appearances type of thing. You know what I mean? And how few there are. Like, the first appearance of Superman, 90 years ago, there aren't a lot of copies of that. There's a lot of copies around that are in good condition. So you can understand why there's a tremendous amount of value. And again, it also becomes a thing of the more ingrained something becomes in pop culture, the more value it has. So,
totally.
For example, any Marvel movie that comes out, the minute a new character shows up in there, the value of that first appearance, for that character in a comic book skyrockets. And that's just the way that's just because the society is putting value in it. And the same thing, it's going to happen here. It's like we're going to determine whether or not have video games cross that threshold where they're now so ingrained in pop culture, so ingrained in society that people are going to see the value in them to this level.
And at this point, I think now it's just still time will tell.
Yeah. Because otherwise, somebody just paid $2 million for a game that's not even, less than half that.
Totally.
Or a quarter of that. I don't even know. But.
And it was even a little more with the 2 millions. I think it was like a 6th print Super Mario Brothers game. It wasn't even like a.
It wasn't like the first run or anything.
I don't think so.
Well, and that's what makes it weird too, because it's like a 6th printing, even if it's brand new. I'm like, you would think like if a 6th printing went for 2 million, how much is a first printing worth? 5, 6?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, where do you go with that? You're better off buying video games than buying homes and flipping them at this point.
Yeah, that's usually the case, right?
Yeah. Or you can do what I did. You go on Rally and you buy shares of a lunar meteorite.
There you go. What? One that's like bound to hit us, or one that's already landed?
No. One that's already landed.
Oh, okay, good.
I now own a share in a meteorite from the moon.
Okay, sure.
Why not?
Well, why not? Do you have like a dust particle to prove it, or?
No, I have a cute little picture of it.
Okay. Framed on your wall. This is my meteor. His name is Bill.
No. His name is Steve.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Steve. Hi, Steve. Awesome. So, all right. So, as time goes on and we see more of this explode, we'll have some more information on it. But right now, it is very interesting to see it kind of almost like with the whole GameStop thing and everything like that, with that artificial price gouging kind of sort of for the stocks. So, yeah, we shall see. But very interesting nevertheless.
Yes, very interesting. So, but just wanted to bring that up since that seems to be like a news item right now. Totally.
And I'm still interested in the video, so I'm at some point I'll watch the video.
Me too. At some point I'll watch it as well, and then we'll come back and we'll be like, "Wow, we're wrong about this."
Yeah, honestly, it's worth $4 million.
It's I just put a bid on it.
Awesome. As if I've never bought anything that's probably way out of a price range.
No, not at all.
So, alrighty, very
All right,
very good. What
moving
do we got?
on.
Yeah, why not? Let's. We got some news.
We got some. We got little bits of news here and
Yeah, why
there.
not?
Since we're talking about games that are, that are auctioning for ridiculous prices, there is a copy of Dragon Warrior for the NES that's going up on the auction block at Comic Connect.
Comic Connect. Okay.
Comic Connect, which is a premier collectibles marketplace and online auction house based in New York.
Let's see what this is.
So you can go visit them. There you go. So the copy of Dragon Warrior is graded 8. It's an 8.0 from WATA, A plus graded.
Mm-hmm.
It is sealed
From WATA. Are we really going to promote them now?
Yeah, now we're going to promote them. Well, they seem to be the go-to graders now for
the de facto. Yeah,
at this point. So anyway, it's 8.0. It's a sealed copy of Dragon Warrior. There is a price tag on it, so whoever owns this actually bought it for $150.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so very curious to see what the game goes for, considering it's sealed. And it's only an 8.0, but still, it's sealed. So I'm curious to see what this goes for. Because again, now we're talking about, this is no Super Mario Brothers, but now we've seen what the standard is, where it's like for a game could go for as much as $2 million. Now, this person who bought this for 150, I'm very curious to see what they wind up getting for it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I feel like the key games, though, like a Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, ones that the general public are aware of.
Right.
Dragon Warrior, I'm not going to say the general the general public has no idea what Dragon Warrior is.
Well, Dragon Warrior is Dragon Quest.
Yeah, but no. Even so, all right, the general populace probably unaware of that.
Well, a lot of people would be known, like anybody who played NES would know Dragon Warrior. But to your point, in pop culture, nobody does.
Meaning that to get that price gouge going, or the price. Because right now, looking at, I don't know how much the Dragon Warriors is, but right now, looking at some of the other games on Comic Connect, which are graded, and we're talking everything basically from Atari to the NES, some Commodore games.
Yep.
Right now they're averaging about $200, $300, which isn't, now these prices I can go for. Mm-hmm. These prices I can, well, all right, maybe not. Clue Land, $600. All right, maybe not. But
I like Clue Land.
Ooh, Beret Fighter, $850. Holy
boy,
cow.
Here we go.
All right, maybe not. Dr. Mario, $460. But still, I'll take that. A boxed Dr. Mario, graded. What is this? I'm on Comic Connect right now.
I'm looking at it too.
Graded what? 9.0.
Yeah.
A plus seal rating, first party, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. All right, $460, maybe because of the grading. Mm-hmm. I can see that. Like, I feel like anything once it hits 4 digits, that's going to be a little tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all comes down to what people are willing to pay for them.
Well, of course.
But the one that I'm interested in, because this wasn't the only one that popped up, but and this is where I'm curious to see, because this is a newer game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well-known game. It's they have up. This is Heritage Auctions now.
Okay.
They have up a brand new copy of Kingdom Hearts for PlayStation 2.
Interesting.
Graded at a 9.6.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see what that goes for, because again, this is a much younger game. This game's only about 20 years old, but graded 9.6 A++. And obviously, if you know Disney, you know Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
If you know Disney and gaming, you know Kingdom Hearts, because it's a RPG in the Disney universe. So I'm very curious to see about where this goes. Right now, it's currently at wow.
What is that?
It's currently at $5,760.
Okay. All right, folks. We're gonna right now. I think me and Anthony are gonna try and battle each other with what game can you find right now that's most expensive. Yeah. I'm going. Allow me to go back to Comic Connect now. $5,000 for that for a PS2 game. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Okay, go for it.
Let's go back to Comic Connect. Super Mario Brothers. Don't look it up.
I'm not.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay.
sealed,
Okay.
9.4, A plus rating
Super
or A
Mario
plus
Brothers
seal rating.
2. Okay.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yep.
Right now, what would you say the current bid is?
Super Mario Brothers 2 Seal 9.4. I'm gonna say $9,000.
Higher. Price
15.
is Right rules.
15,000.
Higher.
30,000.
Higher.
100,000.
Okay, lower.
Okay.
$62,000 right now.
Wow.
And there's that WADA. Jesus.
Wada has, yeah, they've got the monopoly on
But
video games.
for $32 though,
For 30.
you can get a 9.8 graded NES game, sealed, A plus plus seal rating, $32 of win, lose, or draw.
Oh, buy it. Wait a minute. You know what? That costs more to get graded.
Oh man!
That's too
So
funny.
there's
Yeah,
the Game Boy games. All right.
it's getting a little.
Wow,
It's getting a little bit what?
$700 for Game Boy Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Holy Hannah!
I gotta go through my collection now and see what I still have sealed. Because actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I have a sealed copy of Kingdom Hearts.
Do you really?
I think so.
One or two?
I think one. We're gonna search while Larry talks.
Okay. So honestly, as Anthony leaves now.
Oh wait, they're right there. Hold on.
Okay. As he goes, I'm going to mention this. This is odd. So again, on Comic Connect, it's a Nintendo DS Pokemon Platinum. What happened? What do you got? Anthony's
Nope,
back.
they're open. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
My dreams are dashed. There goes
Destroyed.
$6,000.
Destroyed in front of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, here's a Pokemon Platinum sealed DS game for $2,200, but the front of the game just has a like one of those like UPC stickers from like a store just slapped on the front of it.
Yep.
And it's still $2,200.
That's just crazy.
Oh, well.
Well, all right. Bottom line is we're going down a rabbit hole here.
And everything ends in 4 hours.
Damn you, Wada.
Honestly. Oh my gosh. All right.
All right.
Well,
Anyway, let's get back to news.
all these Power Ranger ones going really, really expensive.
Yeah.
All right. So what else we got while I'm looking through, see what I'm going to spend my money on?
All right. So a couple other things. Recently announced Final Fantasy IV
Okay.
will be released on Steam on September 8th.
Oh, is that part of the Pixel thing?
Yeah, it's part of
Okay.
the Pixel remaster.
Yes.
So September 8th, Final Fantasy IV will be up for grabs on Steam if you are interested in getting a hold of that.
Okay.
Very cool stuff there. I've got this is not. I have two other pieces of news.
Okay.
One is a recent thing, but I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was up. But
Yeah, sure.
I'll talk about that really quickly. There is a game coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Are you aware of called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl?
I wanted to talk about this. Yes.
Okay. So they released a teaser trailer which had two new brawlers.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a whole list of fighters already.
I'm getting more and more interested in this game.
Okay, so here are the list of fighters, because if you followed Nickelodeon as a kid in the 90s, then this game is definitely for you.
Oh, absolutely.
So first off, the two new fighters they announced were April O'Neil from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Mm-hmm.
and where's the other one?
Cat Dog.
Oh, Cat Dog. Yes. Where was Cat Dog from?
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog.
Cat Dog
right?
from its own show, yeah.
Yeah, Cat Dog from its own show. So those are the two fighters. The rest of the fighters that have been announced are Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have left Donatello and Raphael out in the cold.
They'll show up later, probably.
Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries.
Interesting.
Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy.
Powdered Toast Man. I loved him.
From SpongeBob SquarePants, you get three. You get SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy Cheeks.
Mm-hmm.
You get Oblina from Real Monsters.
I liked Real Monsters. I enjoyed that show.
You get Lucy and Lincoln Loud from the Loud House. I've never heard of that show.
No, that I've heard of it. I never
Yeah.
watched it.
Helga from Hey Arnold. Zim from Invader Zim.
Yep.
Danny Phantom from Danny Phantom. And Reptar from the Rugrats.
Yes. This is gonna be a wild game. It's again it's Super Smash Brothers, but all Nickelodeon. And I think they've tried this once before.
Yeah.
But this is going to be wild. And April O'Neil, she's getting a lot of press. Not only is she in this game, but she was announced as a playable character in the new TMNT Shredder's Revenge game.
Yes.
Coming out next year.
They finally decided that April can stand up for herself.
Finally. And if you do a search for April O'Neil, make sure you have the parental guide on. If your youngins are searching.
You may get a different April O'Neil.
You may get a completely different April O'Neil.
Yeah. And then,
this lineup is great.
I know, it looks really fun, and I'm like, okay, this is just going to be like cartoony goofiness.
100%. And the fact they're even going like way back to Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy's got to be probably the oldest, because like the TMNT versions are from like the newer ones, like from the 2000s. Yeah. So I would say Ren and Stimpy is probably the oldest show in here. Again, considering that for the TMNT characters.
I'll only be happy if they add somebody from like Salute Your Shorts and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Why should it just be animated characters?
You can't get away with that. Those are real people. Salute Your Shorts I never got into.
Put the host of Nick Arcade in there.
Oh yes. What was the other? Wait, was it Salute Your Shorts that was on like the Dude Ranch? Oh no, Hey Dude.
No, it was Hey Dude.
It was Hey Dude. Adventures of Pete and Pete. We can go. Look, that's a whole different. That's
a different show.
That's an MCU universe that I want to get into.
Yes. All right. But yes. So I thought that was just fun to bring up. Even
very cool.
The last thing I want to bring up, maybe a little bit of sad news. Do you know? Not the saddest. Not super.
Oh,
sad,
okay,
but,
fine.
Do you know who Lance Barr is?
Lance Barr.
Yep.
No.
Okay. But you know his work because
do I? Okay.
Lance Barr is an employee at Nintendo of America who is responsible for the design of the NES and the SNES consoles for America. So the look that those have were done by Lance Barr.
Very cool.
After working for Nintendo of America for 39 years, he announced that he retired and left the company in July. So 39 years, it's a hell of a run.
Yeah. Oh, wait, he retired. He's not dead.
He retired.
Oh, okay. No. All right, so that's not bad. Okay.
He's retired. He's moved on to work on other unannounced projects.
Fair enough.
Whatever they are. But some of the other designs that he did, the Wii Nunchuck was his design.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Nintendo Zapper light gun was his design. And also the NES Max Pad. Not Maxi Pad. The NES Max Pad.
Max Pad was a first-party peripheral?
Yeah.
I did not know it was first-party.
And the NES Advantage arcade stick. Also his.
All right, that one I think I knew was first-party.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that was a lot of cool. It's weird. That original NES design, you look at it, you're like, that's not hard to come up with. But it's iconic.
No, it's iconic. His design was inspired by how VHS players looked back in the day. Mm-hmm. So that's how we got our NES console.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Lance Barr, a name maybe many people do not know in the annals of Nintendo history.
Enjoy your
retirement, sir, and whatever your unannounced projects are. I hope they're cool. Maybe you'll be a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Maybe. Kangaroo on Atari 2600.
Stop
really?
Looking,
$121.
Stop looking at auctions.
Right. I'm shutting it down.
Do not throw your money away in auctions, please.
Right. I will do that on my own time.
That's it. That's all I got for retro reviews.
All right,
and that was a good amount. That was a good chunk.
Yeah, I think we'll wrap it up then.
Please, because we have to go bid on some stuff.
We do, absolutely. I gotta start selling stuff to buy stuff.
Yes.
All right, and where can they find us?
Apparently, you guys can find us on Heritage Auctions.
Yeah, basically.
You guys can find us on Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. You can find us on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast. On Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can watch us on IGTV and YouTube. You can also email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
Yes, yes, and definitely, let us know if you find some interesting auctions
Yeah.
that you see there. I mean, a lot of ones we were looking at today and today when we
Yeah.
record, but definitely let us about that. Let us know about any of your unpopular opinions. You definitely send those in to us. Maybe if you know an obscure game, let us know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And until then, Ant, you are not, I believe, not going to be here next week,
I will
right?
be unavailable next week.
Fair enough. So I'll have somebody. I'll find some homeless guy off the street. I'll
Well,
bring him in and we'll record.
ask the other Anthony to join you. He doesn't have to drive an hour to do it.
This is true. This is true. he can recount the story, and it'll be much better than the way I told
It
it.
would definitely be way better.
And with that, folks, we'll catch you everywhere next week, or at least I will, on the Retro Gamers Podcast.